What was it that a civilian could now apply to their life that helped you turn that feeling sorry into a move forward?
I would use that and turn that and feel that with fire. The complete opposite. Get angry, like your emotions are pushing you around. It's about pushing back.
Spartans, listen up.
We need to sleep better. So how do you sleep better? Never thought about it before. And so I met Jack, I met Essentia. Pay attention to the mattress you sleep on because it's loaded with chemicals.
Recovery, cooling, and pressure relief, all in one mattress. Up to 60% more deep and REM sleep. Less inflammation, faster bounce back. No toxins, no EMFs, no BS.
My buddy Jack over at Essentia, he's kind enough to give us a code for the Spartan community. That's DECA, that's Tough Mudder, all of us. Use Spartan25, get a discount. Prioritize your sleep so you can sleep faster, you can do more burpees, you can train more, you can get healthier. When you sleep well, you live well.
Joe Sena here, CEO and founder of Spartan, host of the Hard Way podcast. I got a buddy of mine on, retired Staff Sergeant Sanchez, Jose Sanchez. This guy is a badass. We know he's badass because he's a Marine. I'm always surprised, Jose, like every Marine I meet, I'm not just saying this because you're a Marine. Every Marine I meet, including my buddy this morning at 5 a.m., is a little nutty. It's a little like there's just a little more in a Marine than all the other branches. That makes sense or no?
No, that makes perfect sense. I think it's just the way it is. It's just the standard of us living and how we operate. How our mindset is, how our daily activities are. It's just the standard that we live by. Once a Marine, always a Marine. And that never fades away. That never goes away.
One thing I was thinking is maybe the entry point for a Marine, like if you're Jose Sanchez and you're, 18 years old and you're about to join the DOD in some branch, and there's Marines, there's Army, there's Navy, there's Air Force, Space Force, and you go to the Marines door, you're probably a little different.
You are from a different walk of life. For me, my personal experience being in there and going to the Marines is just from my childhood, from where I was at. I was in and out of trouble, going against the grind, just trying to stay alive in the neighborhood. Yeah. So you already built that mental fortitude, that survival instinct that I guess when I was growing up, that machismo, that we're bigger than better, then we have to be in that neighborhood. We have to represent who we are. Yeah. If not, we'll get smashed. We'll get pushed around. So we had to have and exemplify that already in an early age. And going in the service, it was a given, like what branch of service you're going to serve or what branch of service that what's going to reflect and give you respect in the streets. Yeah, it was a no-brainer. Is the Marine Corps. Everybody respected that.
You're tattooed up, you're tough as nails, you're surviving the neighborhood, you're living, you got no parents guiding you really. What gets you into a Marine recruiter's office? How does that happen?
So the thing that helped me a little bit was playing sports, football. The thing was that I had a lifestyle that was in and out of trouble, drinking, partying, not focused on my academics or not focused on my trade, not focused on my training, put forth my effort. And my foundation was hollow, And then my senior year was like, dude, I need to get out of here. Hey, what are you gonna do after senior year? You're gonna work, you're gonna stay in the neighborhood, you're gonna work at at McDonald's, the 7-Eleven, what you gonna do? And at that point in time, my senior years, that's when I try to whip it on. And I try to build on top of that hollow foundation, but it all crumbled. I was doing well, I was doing good, rushing for 100 yards per game. And then at the end of the day, I got hurt, I got injured because my foundation wasn't sturdy. I wasn't sturdy. My body, my mind, my tempo, everything was not sturdy and it all crumbled. At that point in time, I've never experienced failure, but that was the first time I experienced failure because I really wanted to try and I did put forth an effort and I wanted to get out of that neighborhood. Because if I knew if I stayed in that neighborhood, I would have not done anything with my life. That neighborhood would have swallowed me whole. I would have been in and out of trouble. I would have probably been locked up or gone down that path that none would want to go. So I wanted and I needed to get out of that neighborhood. But since knowing that and I failed my senior year, I was very disappointed. What I was going to do was like, dude, there's only a way. The way out was only to join the Marine Corps.
It's interesting about what you're saying. I'm thinking about my experience in the neighborhood growing up. And I agree with you. Nobody was guiding anyone. It was a good school, we were in. We were in a Catholic school. It was a good school, but nobody was helping set up those dreams, those visions for where you could go. And, I always say I'd love to take all the young kids in neighborhoods and make them do burpees every day, take away their phones, have a bunch of Marines running the neighborhood. And half of America would say, you can't, they've got to have freedom. But what everybody could agree on is exactly what you just said, which is let's just teach them what's possible, like where they could go, what other kids have done. And maybe that sparks some interest in some kids. But the good news is maybe because you crumbled on that foundation, you ended up in the Marines.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. It was one of those things that I needed to see for myself.
So you go into the Marines, you get shipped off. Easy day?
It was a culture shock, man. It was so different because you make your own rules. Nobody tells you what to do. Like, hey, you're defiant. You're going against the rules. But then you go into the Marine Corps. You got a drill instructor in your face every day. You have to have a curriculum. You have structure. You have order, and it's just so much different from what I was used to. It was just mind-boggling. It was just crazy. And that's where I learned, structure, leadership, guidance, being having a role models, the right for wrong, the different types of characteristic as a person. Basically, just having them turn you into men. You know what I mean? Man growing up and then just changing everything that you learn and growing up to become a man, an honorable man with those traits. And I was able to graduate that and go on and then go into Iraq, Ramadi, right after that.
How was that? Were you nervous?
Growing up having this, like, we're not scared, I'm not afraid, just like getting that tattoo, like, hey, Roger, hey, I'm next, let's go. It had the same mentality, following suit. You have your friends, my friends growing up in the neighborhood. Now we have your brothers, my Marines, my buddies. We're going out in war. And then being in that present is so different. I wasn't prepared for this. Going out there from the streets to the streets of Ramadi, Iraq, where like somebody was getting killed every day. SVVIDs, IEDs, suicide bombers, RPGs, small arms fire, and this is going constantly from sun up to sundown. It's just every day. People that I would talk to right here, right now, the next day they would be gone. It was so real. It was just a matter of time. It was just a roll of dice going out to the wire. Like, would I stay alive? Would I be alive? I don't know. But it's just like that courage, that bravery. Just like, hey, I'm going with I can't let that cowardness or that selfishness overcome me when I have my brothers to the left and to the right of me. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna be there for them. I'm not gonna cower. Like, what I do, it's gonna be critical for them, for their life, and then what they do is gonna be critical for my life. So it was just be brave and just go out there, because I'm not doing it for me, but I'm doing it for my brothers and sisters.
We've discussed the hard way. We understand the scientific benefits. We understand the mental benefits. We understand the unexplainable benefits of doing the hard things. I want you to use the code word podcast and sign up for something hard with us. Because when you get a date on the calendar, your entire being is forced to go to bed early, to wake up early, to put the device down, to not do the drinking. Use the code word podcast. Get signed up for something hard. We care about changing lives here. We don't care about your money. Code word podcast. Get signed up. Let's go.
I love hearing this. I mean, when I'm listening to you get into your character of a Marine, I'm like, that is exactly who we are at Spartan, and what we try to inspire, civilians to be. So you're out there, you're doing some tours. Things go south at some point.
Thank God I survived Iraq. I came back, but I had this mindset already developed from that first war of just numbing, suppressing all these emotions. Whatever it was, I just suppressed it. It was just a mechanism of what I developed to be able to do my job, to not these emotions to inhibit me. So it was a way and it was a form for me to continue on doing what I do without being paralyzed by emotions. So it rolled over. A couple of months later, a couple of years later, I went to Afghanistan. It was the same thing. We had that persona, that numbness to continue to do our job. I was there for about in Afghanistan, Helmand province, training the ANA, Afghan National Army. I was attached with the British. We were there for about about 7 months, going on to 8 months, about 2 weeks from coming home. Those last 2 weeks, they're like, "Hey, Staff Sergeant or Sergeant, we need you to push out to a FOB, a forward observation post. We need you to conduct some submissions." And I was like, 2 weeks from coming home. In my mind, I'm like, I don't want to go out there, dog. Like, dude, come on, man. 2 weeks, I don't want to be doing that shit. Like, come on. But I'm thinking about all this shit in my head. And I was just like, hey, but then that person, you know, tattoo, Iraq, brothers and sisters, hey, you don't want to let these guys down. So I went out there. We're in the compound that day, and about the next day we're gonna go out on a presence patrol. We got voice chatter that, hey, the insurgents, Taliban, they're out there, they're waiting for us. They're, hey, we're gonna be waiting for this, we're gonna strike, we're gonna get ready when they come out and patrol, we're gonna go ahead and engage. And at that point in time, the ANA, Afghan National Army, heard about that and they were scared. They didn't want to go out. And it was just 2 US Marines and then like about 6 British Marines and then about 40 ANA, right? And we had to lead by example. So it was just a small team. Myself, me and a JTAC, 2 US Marines and about 7 British Marines went out on a patrol. Ranger column. We heard the chat, coming in, hey, wasted Americans, get ready. And we were like, head on a swivel, ready to, get attacked and whatnot. And by the time I know it, it's like somebody blindsided me like a linebacker. Boom, like just dazed and confused, smoke ringing in my ears. I didn't know what was going on until I was like, dude, we're under fucking attack. And then the smoke settles, yeah. And then I'm looking and I'm thinking in my head, I'm swiveling left and right on my feet. And then I look down, I'm actually on the floor. I'm on the floor. My ass is I'm on the floor and I look down and my legs are covered with blood. And at that point in time, I was just like, dude, and I have 2 weeks of going home, man. And then I didn't want to be here and I was just fed up. And at that time, I was just like, hey, everybody says keep your PPE on, personal protective equipment, your Kevlar, your flak, and all that, because there's going to be, maybe a daisy chain IED, small arms, a re-attack, sniper fire. But at that point in time, I quit. I gave up. I didn't think about nobody. I didn't think about my family. I didn't think about my daughter. So what I did, I took off my Kevlar, took off my vest, I took off everything, and I just waited for death to come. Like I was like, hey, I just want to die. I just want to go home. Home being up in the one with the heavens or whatnot, and just go home. And I waited for death to come, man. And it seemed like an eternity, but death never came. I was just waiting, and I just wanted, and then nothing happened. Nothing. I'm not gonna die today. Fuck, let's just go. The training kicked in. Let's get the tourniquet. I start putting a tourniquet on my leg. And then this is when the Brits came in. They're like, hey, mate, are you all right? You good? Grabbed me by my arms, the other by my legs. As soon as they picked me up, one by my arms, one by my legs, I saw my leg just detached from my body. I was just like, now is this guiding? Put me down, give me a litter, one of those stretchers, put me on there, get me on there, and then just extract me, medevac me out. And then when they put me on the stretcher, they picked me up. I was like, no, dog, give my leg. Demon on my leg. That shit's been with me for like 20 plus years. I'm not going to leave without my leg, right?
You're on a stretcher now. I bet you're big fans of the British. You like the British. You like the Queen, the King, like you are.
Yeah, I've never, I spent some time over there and I've never really, I developed a friendship with them going out there in the UK and Scotland and Edinburgh to train with the Marines there, the British Marines, and they're good guys, man. But that time, I had the British there fucking medevac me and take me out. And then when they put me in a stretcher, I was like, hey, bring my leg. So one of the guys had to pick up my leg. And then we're going and the train was all crazy. And we're walking and the guys were just like trying to get me out of there. And then we fall down. Everybody falls down. And then we just get back on the litter. They pick me up. I was like, yeah, we don't have time for that. Just leave it. And then they finally got me up in the up armor. As soon as they put me in there, it was a dog, a British dog. And then he was just like, oh my God, like, I hope this guy doesn't die on me. And then at that point, this is when the fire started. And I just wanted to hold someone's hand. I just reached out to that gentleman and I was like, can you just hold my hand to that dog? And at first he's like, no, I don't want to hold your hand, man. Like, I just wanted comfort, And then he held my hand and at next thing I know, I'm on Pedro. It's a helicopter. I'm getting board on a helicopter to medevac me, and they shot me with some morphine and some some juice, and then I knocked out, and then I woke up in the hospital.
Did your leg make it to the hospital with you?
No, sir, it's still there. I still wonder to this time. It's on somebody's probably kitchen as a souvenir or something. Turn it to a light. You know,
A
or
lamp. We got
a lamp. Yeah, like that.
Jose's leg lamp over here.
Yeah, somewhere like that. That movie with the Christmas story, whatever. It's that lamp with the shade. Yeah, just like that somewhere in Afghanistan. I always wonder where that boy's at.
So listen, not many people could handle what you handled. You got through it. You got a great attitude. You go on now and you start a foundation. Tell us about the foundation.
So what happened was when I got injured, I was in the wheelchair. I was bound by the wheelchair. I couldn't stand up more than 2 seconds, walk more than 2 feet. Yeah. And then for some reason, I started going to this different mindset of isolating. And in doing so, I started pushing people away. And I didn't understand that when you isolate all these emotions, you're feeling different emotions when you get injured. Like I'm crying, upset, I'm frustrated. I was like 205 pounds when I got injured. And then I'm in the hospital and I dropped down to 170 pounds. So I'm this fragile little thing. I don't look like a threat. I look like a little kid, a little child. I'm pushing people away. And then at that point in time, I pushed my wife away. I'm still at the Fisher house, going in and out surgery. She left with my child. And it was my doing, you know what I mean? But at that time, I was like, I blamed her. And I got angry. I was like, I was filled with hate at that time. It started burning up in my heart, in my soul, and it just took over me. And that was a choice where I didn't want nobody, and I didn't want to feel vulnerable, and I didn't want nobody to look down on me and pity me.
It's got to be pretty common, right? Like you start feeling sorry for yourself. I mean, I think everybody everybody that goes through this traumatic type experience, like massively traumatic type experience, goes through that same cycle. So this was just part of the cycle. Many people probably don't bounce back, don't build a foundation, don't have an attitude, a positive attitude like you have. So you made it through the valley.
Yeah, and it was through anger, feel my body and feel my presence with that I had to switch and have a different persona. It was that mindset of like, I'm not gonna let this shit happen. I'm not gonna be vulnerable. I'm not gonna have nobody look at me. I was driven by pain and anger. And for like 2011 to 2015, I was in the black, just building myself up and driven by pain and anger. With the foundation where it came to play, it wasn't until 2015 where I opened up this box that the guys had sent me back in 2012 that I opened it up, and in that box, 3 years sitting in the closet full of dust, I opened up, it was the American flag. And that American flag was signed by all the guys that I served with. And it was ran in every area of operation in Afghanistan. And I saw that, and it was just another disappointment. I was just like, fuck, from high school, not, then when I got blown up, then seeing that flag, it was just that, fuck that failure. And at that point in time, I knew how to do something. I had to fly and run that flag again. And what I chose to do because of that spirit, not being able to even walk more than 100 meters or stand up more than 2 seconds, you know what I mean? I chose to run that flag and fly that flag. And I did my first ever Marine Corps marathon, 26.2 miles running with that flag. Pulse injury. I had never ran a marathon before, but because of that flag and what represented it and that spirit propelled me to get there. And that's what led to the series of events, that domino effect to create the nonprofit, to become who I am. And at this point in place and time of my life right here was that pivotal moment of seeing that flag and doing something and standing up for them.
So tell me if this makes sense, because I'm always trying to tie it back. First of all, congrats. Most people, like I said, they don't make it through the valley of death, and yours was pretty dark and deep. I want to tie this back to civilians and those folks that are, maybe they're not even going through something as tough as what you just described, but they're stuck. Was it finding purpose with the flag that got you going? Was it like, what was it that a civilian could now apply to their life that helped you turn that pity, that feeling sorry, into a move forward, a better life?
When a person that's going through hardships are feeling sorry, or feeling pity, or feeling these negative emotions, I would use that and turn that and feel that with fire. The complete opposite. Get angry, like You're up against the ropes. Are you going to fight back? It's courage, it's bravery. And it's about that, standing up for yourself. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for your children. Whatever case may be, spirituality, helping others helps heal the heart. For me, that's had helped me, because doing and living for other people and being that for other has given me a purpose and a mission to create inspiration, to create motivation to another people. That gives you purpose. It's finding purpose.
Well, I'd be in these really long races and I was broken, not nearly as broken as what you were going through, where your leg was rolling off the stretcher onto the ground, but I was broken. Some of the team leaders were smart enough to say, hey, Joe, now you're in charge of XYZ. By putting you in charge of something, or right, like all of a sudden your chest comes up, you've got purpose, you've got somebody to look after. So it sounds like that's what happened to you, right? Rather than focus and look in the mirror at yourself and pity yourself, hey, wait a minute, we got work to do. I got to go help these people.
You're 100% right. And helping others and helping them see that fire and that light gives you that sense of purpose, because you're down in the dumps, it's you by yourself, but then you have someone rely on you, because you're living for other people. You're living for that person. You want to see them succeed. So you're going to do absolutely the best that you can to get and survive, wherever case may be, whatever sort of life. And that's how we did. How do we get through wars? How do we get through, missions?
We got people to look after. How do people find you?
I am on social media, Instagram, JLS143_. And that's where, I do my stuff, and hopefully that inspires them through my actions.